Hi, everyone. We have people from India. Oh my gosh, I want to know the time difference. South Africa, Austin, Austria. Oh my gosh, I love this. Thank you so much for spending the day with me today, or your dinner or your breakfast, depending on what time it is. I'm really excited that you're all here. Guys, this is so cool and so great of an opportunity, and I'm really excited to be here today. But in our agenda, you guys are here because we are focusing on using Notion AI today to streamline your operations. So before we get in today's agenda, we are going to cover Notion AI from the basics because I was looking at all of your kind of questions and your registration data, and a lot of you are brand new to Notion AI. So I want to make sure that I cover that. And then we're going to cover specifically sales and onboarding in operations. And you're going to live build a database with me. We're going to build a proposal template. It's going to be a really good time. And then you also will be able to take that home as well. So if you just want to watch and hang out and listen, you don't have to build. You'll be able to take that. But if you want to, I definitely recommend now opening up a fresh, clean page in Notion to follow along. And then lastly, we have some Q&A. I pulled some really great questions that you guys already submitted. But of course, as we're going through this, please drop your questions in the chat as well. We're following that and we'll pull the questions as we go. Okay, if you want to go to the next slide. Okay, so if we have not met yet, my name's Sarah. I am one of the under 100 Notion certified consultants in the entire world. I've been certified through Notion for a little over 4 years. And outside of that, I own an operations consultancy. So every single day, I wake up and work with businesses like yours to streamline operations, to help dictate processes, to help look at every role and make processes work for that role while not only focusing on obviously increasing revenue and scaling revenue, but my specialty is making sure that experience is top tier white glove, no matter if it's your customers and your clients, but also your team, right? We have found through the years that churn is, especially from COVID, like churn in teams is so astronomical. And a lot of that has to do with process burnout. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited for where Notion is taking AI, where AI is at in work. And so that's what we're going to cover today, obviously. But outside of Notion consulting and operations, I actually am really deeply invested in the Austin community. And so I run Notion Austin, I run ATX YouTubers, and I also have a new community called ATX Low Coders. Specifically, we do hackathons and connect low code builders like myself to really kind of just hang out on the internet. So that's a little bit about me. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. Perfect. So a little bit about Notion AI. So Notion AI is kind of newer. We have a lot of amazing features though. So Notion AI, I do want to, and this was actually one of the questions that somebody submitted, but Notion AI works a little bit differently than what you know ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity to do, where Notion AI is actually its own internal LLM. And so it's not pulling outside information of yours to actually infer the knowledge within it. It's only learning your knowledge and building upon your knowledge. And so you're going to hear me say this a lot today, but the more you add to your workspace, the better Notion AI is going to work for you. And, you know, I work with several clients and literally on a weekly basis, I am getting questions of like, well, why isn't Notion AI working for me? Or how can I make it work better? And we take a look at their workspace and it's literally because they don't have data in their account. And, or now, if you have an enterprise account, being able to integrate things like GitHub or Jira, Google Drive, et cetera, for the AI to continue learning. But if you haven't played with Notion AI yet, there's some really cool things that Notion AI can do, such as writing and editing. So I use Notion AI literally to write my YouTube scripts along with me. You can build and autofill databases. You can also do Q&A across your workspace. So you can literally ask it, hey, what was the average budget of my clients in 2024? You can also use it for task and project assistance. And new, as of literally last week, guys, you can now record meeting notes in Notion and then use the AI to summarize it, which is phenomenal. I was at a conference last week and just like recorded all of the talks. And now I have all this really cool data to go back and actually learn from. And then lastly, the Ask AI, which is kind of across the board. It's got a pop up in your workspace that you can ask it general things, but in your home page, in the home navigation on your panel, you can ask it to do research. You can ask it to, you can talk to ChatGPT in different platforms that you have connected. So there's a whole nother layer to it. So go ahead and go to the next slide, please. And Nate, yeah, meeting notes are fire. Okay, so like I mentioned in the intro, we are going to specifically focus on sales and onboarding. That is kind of my bread and butter with my clients, is how do we make the experience the best it can be from the get-go? But where that starts is the data in your CRM. And so, the cool thing about Notion, kind of a twofold piece to this, is that one, you can use Notion AI to build you a custom CRM, which we're going to do today. And then you can literally build it to every single piece of data that you need. And so if you can go to the next slide. So it all starts with your data strategy, okay? You have to learn and know exactly what data you need to be collecting within your business to actually make a CRM work for you. I was literally on a call last week, and in the call, we were talking about opportunities with different CRM tools, HubSpot, Folk. Do we build in Notion? What do we use, right? And what it comes down to is, what do you actually need? And a lot of those tools don't have the capability to be able to help you build the CRM that you need. And so where you want to start is, one, have a meeting with your team, right? Help identify exactly what data is important, but then use the Ask AI feature to actually learn and infer what you should build in your CRM. So some great examples here. Like I mentioned, I work one-on-one with clients. I do consulting and implementation work. And important information for me in a CRM is, one, what was the inquiry date of the lead? Where did they come from? Did they buy my DIY bundle and now all of a sudden we're upselling them to one-on-one work? And then most importantly, it's probably my favorite data piece that I've built into my CRM, which is how many days did it take for the client to convert into being a client? So from that inquiry date to the day they signed on. And I literally know that it takes on average 12 days for a client to sign on with me. So that allows me to then take this data and say, okay, how do I want to tailor this process? Do I want to do follow-ups? Do I want to push leads into a sales funnel, right? 12 days is not that long of a time. We really don't need a sales funnel, right? We just need maybe one or two follow-up emails just to keep top of mind and get that conversion rate down. But if you're not looking at that data, you don't know what you don't know, right? And so using the data, not just to say, oh, we want to collect phone number, we want to collect email, we want to, know the company name, but actually what data is moving the needle in your business. And again, the more you put into Notion AI, the more it can actually help you build this. And you can go to the next slide. All right, so we are going to actually build a sales CRM in this call. So first, what we want to do, and I want to make this very clear, if you are new to Notion AI and prompting, the difference here is that AI is a robot. Okay. That's very clear. This is not a secret or, anything that is new, but it means that 90% of the time, it does not fill in the blanks like you or I would naturally infer to fill in blanks. And so when you are prompting, whether it's Notion AI, any other AI tool, you need to be as specific as possible. And while, yes, you can, play around with the Notion AI to build the databases, it's really important that you know your data, like we just all talked about, to then help prompt it. So this is the prompt that we're going to use today. So I want to build a sales CRM to capture important data about leads and customers. So we want to be very clear, include properties for contact information, inquiry date, proposal send date, land date, numbers of days to convert the lead, project budget, project brief, project timeline, sales call notes, timeline. I also want to know who the entry is assigned to. So this is a great extra piece at the end, because if you have multiple people in your sales team, you will want to make sure that certain people are assigned. And Nick, to your question, yes, I have all of this in the template page that we're going to send out at the end of the call and in the replay. So I've got all the prompts saved outside the slides for you. Okay, so let's get into actually building. So, Faustine, if you want to open up or go back to the Notion tab and we'll get it going. And then down at the bottom, you'll see the prompts in like a toggle. So you can just go below that and show, yeah, that screen, but just like go below the toggles. Okay, so what we want to do to start building a database with AI, there's a couple different places that you can do it. The first is just doing a command block and starting with a page. Wonder how long it'll be to. It's not. Did you click the new link that I sent you in Slack? Because it's
Yeah.
not showing that I edited like below that.
Yeah, I will refresh it.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, so you can click new page. So this is kind of the first place that you can do it. You do a /new page. You also can build databases from your home page now. That's a new update as of last week. So you can't see it on the screen share right now, but at the bottom of a new page, you have get started with, and there's a couple links here. And so we'll click on database. And then there's going to be a pop-up that says empty database or build with AI. I don't know how I really want to be able to share this actually. This isn't working. I mean, do you want to build and I can walk you through how to build it so people can see it on your screen?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Let me open. How do we let you edit this? Um, Share. Oh, can view. I just changed it to can edit so you can refresh the page and it should let you now.
Perfect.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
Oh, and you have to click the editing button up in the top right corner. Yep.
yep. Makes me want to leave site.
Just click leave. It should just refresh. Okay, perfect. So here at the bottom, like you can see, we just kind of went over that, but under the get started with, you have database and template. So you'll go ahead and click database. And you'll see this. Oh, well, why don't you see the AI? Is it because it's shared?
That
I
is very
guess so. Okay. Y'all, listen, it is Tuesday. It is technical difficulty Tuesday. But yeah, I think Nick, you're right that guests don't actually have access to AI. So let's take a pre-K pause and Faustine, is your email just at Notion? You want to put it in
it's
Slack?
Faustine, or I could drop it in the chat.
Okay. And then I'll just give you actual access. James is saying, I don't have access to AI in my Notion instance either. So, James, right now you actually have to add on AI into your account. So you're given a certain amount of credits, and then you can then yeah, basically you have to like update. Sorry, I was also reading Stacey's question, which was the same. I think we have to upgrade or add to the AI. Yes. So that's actually a question that I have saved for later is how does AI, the plans and everything work? So with Notion AI right now, you have to, Faustine, where did you put your email?
Oh, it's at 9:15 on the chat.
At 9:15. Okay, let me scroll back. Actually, no, I don't have it. It
Oh,
says
weird.
no for me. Do you want to just put it in Slack real fast?
Yeah, I can do that.
Um, cool. So yeah, so Notion is changing their plans fairly soon, where right now AI is actually separate add-on to your account, but moving forward, it's going to be baked in to your plans. And so you won't have to kind of deal with, upgrading and adding on and doing all of these things. And so yeah. Um, It just gave me a link to, oh, there we go. Okay. That's what I thought it was. Okay. All right. Adding you right now, full access. Yeah, we'll just add you as a member. I have enterprise, so I don't care. But yeah, so very soon, if Notion has not released that data or the information on the plan change, they'll be coming out with it soon, but it is coming out very, very soon. So yeah, and then you won't have to kind of do all these extra things. Okay, perfect. So we are back. We are rocking and rolling, guys. Thank you so much for being patient. We're almost there. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. So again, we are here in a brand new page in Notion, and down at the bottom, we want to click database. And you can see the two options. So we have empty database, and then we have build with AI. So we're going to click build with AI. And then we're going to paste the prompt from our what we just created with the CRM into this block. So I will, it's on the page, Faustine, but I can pop it into Slack if that's easier. So you can
Yeah.
keep this page open. Um, Okay, so we've got that. All right, perfect. So we're just going to use the example that I shared a little while ago, verbatim, and put that into the prompt. And then now what it's going to do is actually design the database. So it's going to pull in all this information, all of your instructions. It's actually walking you through all of the steps that it's taking. So it's adding the properties. It's going to add some views. Now, keep in mind in the prompt, we did not tell it specific views to create. So that's always kind of a fun surprise I like to give myself is what views will it create today? And then once it's done, it's actually going to ask us to edit and approve everything that it created. Simone's asking, can AI delete properties? Not necessarily. Kind of in this process, once it's done loading, we'll be able to kind of see, what we want to add, what we want to do in the make changes, but not once things are really created. So you'll see all the things that it added. And I think this looks pretty good. We've got company name, email, phone number assigned to, inquiry date, everything that we asked it to do. Now, obviously, keeping in mind that, sometimes things might not be, the icons and things might not be exactly what you want. But what I have found is that right now, the database AI builds can't really handle that so specifically. So we'll just say that these work good. Notion kind of takes the perspective of using an icon and matching it to the context. I personally build a much different way, but that doesn't matter for today's call. So we're just going to go ahead and click continue, and we are good to go. And now it also is having us customize the views of here. So basically it's inferring, we want to know all the leads. We want to see the pipeline by status and then maybe calendar. I don't know why we would need a calendar, so we can unclick calendar and then click done. Perfect. So now we have, oh, that's interesting.
Maybe because I don't have full access.
But you built in that page. That doesn't, maybe click back and, huh. I have never experienced this before. Maybe click new page and see. Okay, well, either way, we can go back to the original page and you can just show what I've already built. So if you go back to the original Notion page with the slides.
Oh,
Click one more back. Perfect. And then just scroll up and then the saved templates up at the top. Perfect. So this is pretend this is what we just built with the AI, but this is our AI sales CRM template. So you can see everything's in here. We've got our contact info, and I actually kind of went through and cleaned this up prior. But the next thing that we want to do is take a look at what else we can do with AI. So Faustine, if you want to go back to the Canva slides. And okay, so Dave actually said, I've noticed sometimes the build database with AI will create the database in a new page. Maybe she doesn't have access. Yeah. I don't really know why that's been happening. I also know that like sometimes if you've, added a title, the title goes away and like all these kind of like weird nuances. But yeah, okay, so we've built our sales CRM. So if you want to go to the next slide, the next thing oh yeah, sorry, this was one we built. So you can go to the next one. Okay, perfect. And then back one, you double clicked. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So the next things that we can do in Notion is build proposal templates. So this is why your data is really important in Notion, specifically in your sales CRM, because we can actually create a template that then generates a proposal for you based on the data you've included. So you want to make sure that obviously this page has sales call notes, has initial budget, right? If you're doing a contact form on your website, ask all those questions. What's your timeline? What's your budget? What offer are you interested in? Give open-ended feedback, things like that. And then you can use this template to do that. So we are going to start working through building a proposal template. So, Faustine, if you want to go back to the database that we built, I think I might have to also unlock access for you there because you can't see the blue new button or anything. So let me add your email. Again, thanks guys for being so patient. Okay, so if we share this and give you full access. Okay. Okay, so if you refresh, I think you should be able to see everything. No. Okay. What the heck? Let's see. You've got full. This is why I hate teaching live, everybody, in case anyone was curious.
A lot of pressure.
Anyway, just go back to the slide, and I'm glad I took videos of everything. I'm very prepared. But basically, you guys know how to create a template in Notion, right? So you click that blue drop down arrow next to the blue new button and you click, new template. So in the template itself, you will do / AI block. And then in the prompt, which Faustine, if you go back, we can show the prompt that I put in there. And then just go back one page to the from chaos to clarity. Scroll down and the proposal prompt is there. So in that prompt, you'll write, based on the data on this page and its properties, draft a proposal for the client, include easy to navigate headers and a conclusion for them to take action. So within this, once you put that in there, every time you run the template, it will generate this AI block for you. Now, if you accidentally click generate like I did when creating this template, basically you will then see a button at the top of the AI block that says update. So if you go back to the slide so everybody can kind of see what it does, but you can kind of see on that screen it says updating and then it updates all of the areas. So once you click on that, you'll have it forever. Now, what I would recommend, and this is just my personal kind of personal choice, is that I don't ever have templates auto default and turn on when I'm using pages and databases, because sometimes you may get leads. This is a great example for CRM. You may get a lead where you're like, ooh, I don't want to write a proposal for that client, or, it's not a good lead. So you're not kind of moving them through the process. So if you are not actively right now until things change, you're kind of on the free AI and you're testing it out, don't waste your AI credits, but once it's built in, use it to your little heart's extent. So this is the proposal template. Again, all of this will be in the duplicable template that I'm giving you guys here in a minute. Okay, so if you want to go to the next slide. And then the next thing that we're going to do is a project tracker. So on top of the proposal template, you can also use Notion AI to actually pull in the rest of the data and create a project management table with all of the upcoming due dates, the phases of a project based on what your project is. So again, you're going to click that / AI block and use this prompt. So create a project management database, and you can actually add in here, guys, if you want a specific person to be tagged. Now, the thing here that I do want to mention is that currently Notion AI does not, when you're using the AI block, let me just reframe that, cannot actually create a database, but it can create a table. So once it creates the table, you can just turn it into a database by clicking the 6 dots and then turn it into a database. So it's kind of one extra step, but the thing here is that if you guys are utilizing, a larger project management tracker, you could then in turn just merge all of this data and move it over and kind of use this as a guide and then put it in your internal system. So this would be something that I would share with my client, but I'm not going to give them access to my internal project management database because we all know that database row level permissions are not a thing. And so giving them an idea, but not giving them access to the actual work, this is a great alternative to do that. I'm just going to check the chat real fast. Notion AI can't create the formulas in a database, but you can ask it to write it. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Abe. I use Plus, so I have nothing to worry about in terms. Yeah, you're good. Okay, perfect. So awesome. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so let's talk about Notion at Work. So Notion at Work launched last week, and I want to just make sure that we spend some time going over all of the things that Notion AI can do. So a lot of this is really incredible to add into your workflows, into your workspace. So we've kind of already talked about AI meeting notes, but how you access AI meeting notes if you have not done it yet is if you go to a page, it can be any page, and do /meeting. And this kind of pop up shows up to click start on recording. It starts taking the transcript. And then once you're done, you click stop. You can do the AI summary. You can see all of the notes. Now, what I tend to do with this is I have a database for meeting notes. I'm not just like creating random pages in my workspace, but I will, name the name of the meeting, put the date, put the attendees, and then start using the AI meeting notes in that specific page, I should say. So then the next thing is going to be your enterprise search. So we've talked a little bit about this. It's accessible in your home panel, but what you'll do is you will connect all of your integrations. So you can see the screenshot here, Notion, Slack, GitHub, Drive, Jira, etc. And within enterprise search, you can type in, what are the proposals for all creative agencies we've ever worked with or whatever, right? And then it will pull all of the data from all of those connected accounts. And as you can see, it has kind of these pop-ups and shows you where the content is. So in Slack, 14 times that was mentioned. In Drive, there's 83 examples. The next thing is going to be research mode. So this is also newer. It does deep research across the board. I actually started playing with this morning specifically to write a YouTube script on how I built my finance tracker in Notion. So a lot of you guys know me personally that are in this call, and you guys know that I have like no overhead in my business. I don't have a team. I don't really have a lot of spend. And so I actually track all of my expenses and all of my invoices in Notion. And I've built kind of this pretty extensive custom tracker. And so I was like, oh, I should make a YouTube video about this. And so using research mode, I basically said, from everything about, all of my finances, my tracker, all of this stuff, help me build a script. And so it actually pulls like from your entire workspace. And one of the cool things, well, actually, I don't know. It was cool that it pulled it, but for this instance, it was technically wrong. Is that I actually built a massive template for a creator who his name's Scott Rikens, and he has championed FIRE. If you guys know what FIRE is, it stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. And so we built him a FIRE OS in Notion to give to his audience alongside of his book and his documentary. And in this research mode, it actually pulled a whole section on how I built FIRE for these specific instances in finance because I wasn't specific enough in my prompt. So again, those are the things that you want to keep in mind. And then lastly, chat with AI models. So if you're using ChatGPT, if you're using Claude, if you're using Perplexity, you can connect those into Notion now and chat on your homepage with those as well. Okay, so let's go to the next slide, and I'm going to check the chat real fast. But while I'm doing that, this is the QR code, y'all. You can scan it and it'll give you access to not only slides today, but the AI built CRM that we just went through. And then after the call, once the recording's done processing all of that, we'll send out the recording also with this link. So while you're scanning that, getting all that in, let me just go through the chat. Okay. Does AI meeting notes support other languages? That is a great question. Faustine, do you know? I think so because it has the transcribe. Um,
Yeah, I'm not too 100% sure on that one,
okay.
but definitely can check with my team.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll follow up on that. I feel like it can. Because in even if it doesn't, right, and it pulls the native language, you can use AI to change the language and transcribe it to what you need actually. Okay. Are there any more connectors being added in the coming future? I'm assuming there will be. Obviously, a lot of this is brand new. Notion just rolled this out a week or so ago. And so as time goes on, obviously, yes, I'm sure there are going to be more things available. Okay, yeah, and Thomas Frank, y'all, is phenomenal resource for a lot of this. He does a lot of tutorials, a lot of how-tos. He really goes so deep into everything, so he's a great resource to bookmark for sure. Okay, so Blessing asked a really great question. Does Notion actually join the calls or does it record one audio from my own mic that's picked up and or two audio from my computer and mic? So when you start recording, when you do the command/meeting, before you click start, it actually does like a pop-up that requires approval for recording the meeting note, right? So you should be asking, hey, is it okay if I record? I actually was at an event earlier this year there where somebody was wearing like an AI recorder and we didn't know that we were all being recorded. And it's not a great feeling to find out that you are having an intimate conversation and then that's being recorded. So always best practices, guys. Make sure you're letting people know because it does not technically join the call, so to speak. So there's, if you're in a Google Meet call or you're here in Zoom, there's no like bot as like a quote unquote person that pops up in the call. It is purely on your desktop. And to your second question, Blessing, audio from my computer and mic. Yes. So it picks up all of the surrounding audio. So, like I mentioned, I was at a conference last week and it picked up the speaker of the conference, right? Who was on the mic, 10 rows in front of me. So that is that. Oh, and Abe had already mentioned that. Sorry, I'm just trying to scroll through the comments. Okay, perfect. So if we go, hopefully everyone got the QR code, but again, we'll send that out. So if you want to go to the next slide. And for those of you who have not gotten AI, and I believe you don't have a current work account is part of the ruling here. But you can apply to get up to 6 months of Notion's business plan with AI included, which is a $12,000 value. So if you scan this QR code, this will pull up the application for you to apply to receive that. And Faustine, did you want to add anything about that, or does that cover it?
That covers it. I
Cool.
just dropped in the link in the chat, so give it a try. Let me know how you guys like it and play around with the AI. Definitely encourage you guys to utilize the template and give it a try as well.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So if we want to go to the next slide, um, we have questions. So I have saved, I think I mentioned at the beginning, I've saved a lot of questions that you guys submitted when you RSVP'd to this webinar. And so I have those written down. We're going to go through those. But if you did not submit a question and now you have a question, drop it in the chat. Please don't hesitate. And I will answer those as well. So and I actually didn't write down the names of who submitted these, by the way. So if this is your question, celebrate in the chat that you got picked. But the first question is, what level of privacy can users expect when using Notion AI? Can Notion AI be toggled on and off depending on the team space? So we kind of covered this at the beginning, but Notion AI is a little more private than ChatGPT. It's there, the LLM is only learning from your data. It's not learning from what Dave submitted, what Sara submitted, what Nick submitted, right? It's purely working off of your data. However, it can only be toggled on and off from a workspace level, not a team space level. And now with the changes, excuse me, where was I going with that? Oh, that's what I was saying is, everyone that is a paid seat will automatically have AI. So kind of toggling it on and off will only be at the team level, within the workspace, not the team space level. Okay, so Ben asked, I actually know Ben, and I saw his question, so I wanted to include it, but it's not AI related. But he asked, adding team members to my project management boards is always a struggle. Constantly hearing about how confusing Notion is, and I'm really not sure of the root cause. Any advice? So this really goes back to what we talked about with data strategy and with Notion overall. So the best thing that you can do is have open-ended conversations with your team and really understand, what platforms did they come from? What are they used to? 90% of the teams that I work with personally are leaving Asana and coming to Notion, which means they prefer Kanban boards. On Kanban boards, we all kind of know that sub items are honestly like a little confusing to kind of track and follow and view. And so if you're really heavily utilizing sub items, Kanban boards are probably what's confusing to them, but they're used to Kanban boards, right? Also understanding what are their workflows. The best thing that you can do, I tell every team this, is not to build Notion for the company, build Notion for the department. And that is why, in my personal opinion, every team space should be per department, not just like one massive team space for everybody. And then there's a page per team, right? Because everybody works differently. So finance is going to have a much different interaction with Notion than, let's say, a creative team. Specifically, right? Like I'm working with this production team right now, and their editing team works so different than their sales team. And so keeping that in mind is not building a blanket solution for everybody, but engaging everyone in your team to be a part of how you build that. You are going to find the most success that you absolutely can. So the next thing is give insights on enterprise search. So we just really talked about that, but enterprise search really is your true way to connect Notion across all of your other tools. I work with a lot of production teams. And sorry, when I say production, I meant in this specific instance, like product teams, right? They're building a product, they have an engineering team. And in that instance, they're really leaning on Jira. But there before Notion at Work kind of came out, there was a lot of friction between how do we connect them? How do we keep them engaged? Because yeah, sure, you could embed Jira, but you really couldn't like fully engage with it now like you can with enterprise search and be able to search things and pull it from all of your areas in one place. The next question is the idea for Notion AI to replace other AI platforms I'd use every day? What's the possibility of using Notion AI for day-to-day stuff that would replace ChatGPT? So I think a great example of this is we've all at some point added our brand guidelines. We've added in, our offers and our pricing and our customer, ICP, all of those different things. But and using ChatGPT to kind of infer future decisions because we've added that data. 90% of my teams that I've worked with have not then added that data to Notion. So the first step is add the data to Notion, and then you could replace ChatGPT by using Notion AI to answer those questions and infer those decisions. But I still personally, I lean very heavily on ChatGPT for the things that need outside info, right? So a great example, I teach a career day. I teach multiple career days every year. It is my favorite time of the year to go to elementary schools and hang out with the kiddos. And we actually use ChatGPT to write superhero stories and then illustrate those stories. And y'all, they're the best. They are literally, these stories are wild, but they're so good. And so, being able to do things like that, that's something that Notion AI is not currently able to really do the way that ChatGPT does. So I would just, take everything by case basis. Again, audit your operations. Really look at what am I using ChatGPT for? See if it's possible in Notion. And if it is, move it over to Notion. The next question is, does Notion AI understand Notion blocks and tables? So yes, Notion can read content from blocks and tables, and it can understand them. A great example actually of this is that you can also use Notion AI. You can plug data in and then have it turn it into tables. So I work with this grant agency, and once a quarter, I literally get hired, like I'm on retainer literally for the example I'm about to give y'all, is that they get this 65-page PDF of all of the available grants that they can write and apply to for the universities. And I literally come in, I use Notion AI, we upload the PDF, and then use Notion AI to turn that into a trackable database so they can see, okay, we're gonna write this one, we're gonna apply for this one, etc. So it does understand it. It also can create content in those as well. The next question is not necessarily AI, but I did want to call it out because it is actually a newer feature in Notion that many, I feel like, don't really know that is available. So the question is, what's the easiest way to keep documents updated, especially with linked documents? So there is a newer feature that was initially only available in wikis, which was the ability to verify pages. And I'm very proud, going to toot my own horn because it was my feature request and they built it. But now on any database in Notion, you can verify a page and assign an owner to that page. And so that is your best case for keeping documents updated across any database, across any board. So if you have a project lead or a department head who probably should be overseeing these SOPs, you can customize each database verification and assign that lead, assign the department lead, etc., to keep those updated, and or whoever on your team that owns that document. But yeah, it's such a cool feature because, before you had to like do all these things with the wiki and now it's just all of your databases. You don't have to transform them. You can just turn on verification literally in any database. Okay, so the next question is how to organize internal knowledge in wikis. So a little shameless plug, but I actually have a video coming out about this next Tuesday of how to build a starting simple SOP library, a knowledge wiki. Those kind of terms are interchangeable. But how to do that, how to organize either by department or by category, how to build a universal template for that, and then on top of that, how to do some video for the SOPs. Okay, so is there a way to get information of related pages on an AI property in databases? So this is such a good question. But right now, as of right now, you cannot use Notion AI to pull relational data. However, one of the workarounds that I found recently with a client is putting content into a synced block on the original page and then putting the synced block in the page that you're linking the relation. Because then the AI can utilize the sync block data because it's viewable on the page, but it can't pull data from a roll up or a relation just kind of openly. So the next question is, how do I find the right contractors to help me tie in automations and AI into your Notion workflow? So another shameless plug, and for several of my friends in this call today, but there's such a thing as Notion consultants. You should reach out to us. So there is a phenomenal group of consultants, y'all. There's, I think, maybe 70 of us now. I can't remember the number, but if you go to Notion's website, down in the footer, there's a page that's like Notion Solutions Partners. That will open up the directory for you to connect with any of us all around the world. So if you want to work with someone in France, if you want to work with someone in the US, whatever that looks like, you can connect with us that way and get help with AI or automations, whether it's database automations, external automations, etc. Okay. And then what's one creative way you use Notion AI in your daily routine to stay inspired without losing personal touch? So yeah, and actually let me backtrack. So Notion consultants, I'm going to call out Dave. Dave is in the chat. He just put like a wave. Dave is here. Nick James is here. And you can actually in the directory connect one-on-one with somebody if you're interested, or you can do kind of like a general matching. But yeah, definitely connect with some consultants because they're very, very talented people, guys. Very talented. Okay, so what's one creative way to use Notion AI in your own daily routine to stay inspired without losing the personal touch? So for me specifically, let me give some context. I have an AI agent that I've built for my business. I think I mentioned at the beginning, I don't have a team, I don't have contractors. I am very proud a team of one. And that means that I lean very heavily on AI and automations to make my business run well. And so I've given a lot of talks on Lizzie. That is my AI agent's name. Her name is Lizzie. And it's very important that you define the line between AI and humanity for your business. Okay. So for me, that line is what is going to interfere with me doing the best possible work I can do for a client. And if I can use AI to free up time so I can do that, that is what I'm going to do. And so for me, my daily routine using AI, specifically Notion AI, is reading meeting notes. Every client, I do a 4 to 5 hour strategy session to kick off with them. I'm not going to remember everything we said in a 4 hour period. And so, really heavily leaning on Notion AI to say, hey, this was our strategy, these were our decisions, and being able to quickly just pick the project up after that call and get started on the work is crucial to me. But then on a more personal side, I love talking about this, but I love to cook. I also spend every waking hour on Pinterest looking at recipes. Like, kind of a joke, but some people call me Pindiana Jones because I'm always searching for good recipes on the internet. And every time I pin, I have an automation, an external automation that plugs those recipes into a Notion database. And then I'm using Notion AI alongside some automations to literally meal plan for me. And so literally every 30 days, it kind of resets and kickstarts different recipes every single day. Because as you guys know, as entrepreneurs and freelancers, like, we make so many decisions in a day, and the fatigue to be like, babe, what's for dinner? Like, I don't know. And, so I can literally just go into my meal planner and say, okay, we're going to do, I don't know, shredded chicken tacos for dinner. Or, last night, what did I make for dinner last night? I'm totally blanking. We did like baked potatoes, right? Like, I don't need to make that decision. Notion AI is doing that for me and just kind of, taking out the fatigue. Okay, so one of the last questions is, what are the best ways to teach AI implementation best practices for teams that have no prior experience using AI? So I personally know how overwhelming AI can be, especially people who have been in the workforce for a while, who technology may be a little difficult for them, right? The digital divide is very, very real. And I think with AI, it just is further dividing a lot of people online. And so with AI, the best thing that you can do is to, one, reduce the fear that people have around AI, right? There's this whole narrative that AI is taking my job, AI is going to take my job, I'm not going to have a job, what do I do, right? And I feel like the fear puts people kind of in this fight or flight mode where it's either they adamantly hate AI, but they've never really played with it, or they are kind of like, I'm just so scared, I don't know how, and I don't know how to learn. And then you have people who are like us that are power users, right? And so there's like the kind of this weird buckets of people. And so the best thing that you can do is save space for people who need a little more reassurance that, hey, AI is actually a benefit and can amplify your role. Again, going back to, what do you spend a lot of time on? What can we free up? One of the things I hear a lot from teams is we're spending so much time on customers and clients that we're not making time for internal projects or projects that are pushing the business forward. And so, okay, what are some things that we can do with AI to make more time for that, right? Also, I think another great thing is, from like a leadership perspective, you never want to hear from one of your employees like, oh, I hate this piece of my job. Oh, I hate this task, right? Well, you know what? Maybe celebrate that a little bit more and see if you can use the AI to actually take the stuff off of somebody's plate that they're not excited about, right? And that in full transparency, AI and automations can just make sure that it's done well and it's done better because there's no need to be excited for it, right? And really champion something. But after that, and I talked a little bit about it at the beginning, is that, giving space to everyone to be involved to create something like a prompt library, right? Sitting with your team in a lunch and learn or an offsite retreat or whatever and saying, hey, here are some ways you can use AI. Here's some example prompts you can do. One of the greatest things, especially if you are in this call and you're starting to, do like Notion consulting, the best thing that you can do to teach people how to use Notion is literally the build databases with AI. Like, that is one of the coolest things, to give people ownership of a process instead of being forced to know what the process is, right? Being a part of those decisions. So that's what I would say about it is, get them involved, get them get them confident in asking questions and not embarrassed to ask questions. I think the other thing, depending on how big your team size is divide those buckets, right? If you have a lot of AI champions, have them become mentors to people who need a little bit more help, and do an internal hackathon. See what people come up with, what they build and what they do, and make it a team building experience. I think that's something that we have really lost during COVID is camaraderie and learning and professional development. And this is a great example of how you can bring some of that back. Okay, let me check the chat because those are all the questions that I had kind of jotted down. So I want to make sure that we make space for the other questions. So Jackie asked, are you happy to share the meal plan? Does it have a shopping list? So I actually have this template. I can't remember if it's in the template gallery, but I have a video on my YouTube channel about the Notion like meal planner that I built. So you can grab it there. The shopping list is not necessarily connected. I track like our freezer and our pantry separately and then kind of plug and play what the AI gives me. And then if I don't have to go to the store, like because I have different items that I already have, like I'll just kind of move around the meals. AI is taking my data. Yeah, data is king. I don't like all my data used and abused. So how do I share without taking my individual thoughts and process contributions? Yeah. I mean, I think you have to take everything with a grain of salt and really decide like what is your personal quote unquote like IP versus what is important to processes and contributing in that way, right? Like when I brainstorm, I don't put that digital, right? Like I love sitting on my deck with a pen and paper and just ideating, right? And so really and then just kind of deciding from there like what's important. Okay, Sandra asked, does build Notion databases with AI also work in different languages? So make a database with the prompts in Dutch, for example. I think if your account is set to those languages, it should. But I only work in English, and so I would just try it and see. And maybe there's some info in the Notion guides to help you. Thanks for sharing that, Abe. I appreciate it. You're an OG, man. I love it. Okay, I think that is it. Oh, Jackie also said, I think my question was missed earlier, but can we touch on GDPR data? How can we make the data safe, especially when dealing with people's info? Yeah, so if you are on I believe it's just enterprise. I will double check and get back to you. But there is HIPAA compliance now that you can actually toggle on in your settings in your workspace. So I would definitely tap into that, look at the Notion guide and that data, and just see where it's at. But other than that, I never publicize any database, any page that could remotely uh, give away anybody's data. I also too, make like so a great example, team spaces. You have to have one kind of open team space in an account if you have external guests and members and things. And so that team space literally is empty. I don't touch it. I don't think about it. And all of my other team spaces are invite only and private. Like I have mine, and mind you, I have an enterprise account, right? But I have mine set up that the team spaces can't even be seen. So it's not like you can request to join them. So I try to take as many steps as I can from my own account security to make sure that's okay. Um, okay. Oh yeah, and then Abe followed up and said, here's the AI security. So perfect. Okay, so we have about 4 more minutes left. So if there's any final questions, I would love to answer them. But in the short term, thank y'all so much for coming to today's call, today's webinar. I'm really grateful that you guys are here, and I'm happy to answer any questions anytime that you have. You probably have my email. It's just hello@systems.club. So any follow-up that you have, please don't hesitate to reach out. But also like show me the stuff that you're building with AI. Like screenshot, record a video and share it out because Notion AI is new and we really want people to actually champion this and be excited. And the more people see what's possible, the more people are going to use it. And you guys are here and you're willing to learn and you've shown up. And so become the champion yourself for your audience. So cool. Okay, well, I think that's it.